What are the 5 things you need to know to succeed in influencer marketing in 2024? Hello and welcome to Growth Masterminds. My name is John Koetsier. Hey, everybody knows influencer marketing has been around for a while now. We kind of know the drill, but yeah, this is mobile. Everything is always changing, as every performance marketer knows. Influencer marketing will hit about $24 billion in market value in 2024. And for those who are really into it, it hits about 25% of their ad budget. To chat, we have a serious expert. She's from an agency that is all over the globe. They employ 140 social media marketing experts. They work with clients like Tencent, Gameloft, Playriz, Activision Blizzard, Domino's Pizza. It's called Zorka. She's the influencer marketing director, and her name is Kristina Nikeenko. Hello, Kristina. How are you?
Hello, John. Thank you for having me today.
Super pumped to have you. I think I butchered your last name. How do you really say it?
Nikeenko.
Oh, so I was pretty close.
It was
Wow.
perfect.
Luck of the draw. I doubt it was perfect. You're just very kind, but it's all good. Talk about the state of the market. I mean, $24 billion and still growing. What's going on here?
Well, it's been growing year over the year. And if you ask me, I personally believe that about 30, maybe 40% of this budget goes to celebrity marketed by its own. But yeah, that's true. More and more marketers are spending on influencer marketing and make it as a part of their digital marketing strategy. If you look 2 years ahead, they were probably allocate not 10% like it's average at the moment, but about 20 or 30. That's what I believe.
Interesting. So what's changing in 2024? You mentioned, 30% of the budget towards the A-lister celebrity types, that sort of thing, the very large influencers. What else is changing in 2024 in influencer marketing?
I would say that a lot of changes are related to the platforms and its algorithms itself. Like, if you look at the platforms, you will see that they're trying to make the sponsored content more transparent, making marketers to mention the ad in the description of the video. Also, they are working hard to bring the equality in the for the influencers to grow, highlighting more smaller influencers and letting them to be highlighted on the platforms such as TikTok and YouTube. So moreover, I would say that more AI tools are here on the market to help creators to generate the content and make the video editing. But there are a lot of changes around the platforms itself. There are algorithms of how much marketers are tackling their campaigns in order to make it most efficient and effective.
It's interesting that you mentioned AI because one of the things that has been fascinating to me is influencers. And for now, it's been mostly the very high end celebrities. You see this in China a few times, I think elsewhere also, where they've kind of essentially signed a contract to allow a brand to deep fake them and then basically act and give personalized messages to millions of people. Think that's going to be a big deal as we go forward.
Well, it depends on the geo. In Asia, yes, for sure, and it's been popping there over a year at least. But in US, there are a lot of scandals around the deepfake, and a lot of content creators are trying to protect themselves of brands using their faces in their advertising campaigns. So I believe that the trends from Asia, such as live shops, will boom, but deepfakes, probably not. Like, yes, it's all over the market, but they are trying to distinguish this content and try to highlight where is AI generated content and where is the real generated content.
So you mentioned some of the changes in terms of influencer marketing. Let's look at individual platforms. Of course, we think of TikTok, right? We think of people dancing, singing, doing stuff. That's massive. What else are you seeing? Instagram's kind of the OG here for influencer marketing. Let's go platform by platform. What's interesting to you? Maybe start with YouTube.
YouTube is one of the biggest platforms in terms of video streaming. Of course, it can't compete with Twitch at the moment, but just a few days ago, I think there were like a conference where they were highlighting that this is the direction they want to push. And it's also growing over like a TV, that it's a new media. And this is something we have to take into consideration, since the percentage of the users who watch YouTube through their TV is growing. So if you ask the tip, don't use this QR code during the sponsored integration, because some of the users won't be able even to click your link in the description if you want to track them.
What about Facebook? Facebook is kind of like the original, almost at this point, social media platform. It's not as highly, at least it doesn't come to mind, top of mind for me when I think influencer marketing, but there must be quite a bit going on there. But I guess it's a different demographic. Talk about Facebook a little bit.
Yeah, Facebook is a little for like older users. And to be honest, we don't use it that often. It just comes as a part of cross-platform like strategy. And you can work with some groups, right? Like a group that's related to a specific topic, and there are like a lot of communities. And if you want to integrate your brand there, it's a good start. But speaking of like a solid platform for influencer marketing campaign, well, I would rather use something else.
Super interesting, actually, because I know one of the things that has really worked for my wife on Facebook is those groups that you mentioned, and local groups, right? And one of the biggest ones is like finding handyman or a plumber or a carpenter or something like that. And it makes me wonder about micro influencers, but you have to have a very geo focused campaign and super, there might be a niche there, but hard to hit. Let's talk about Instagram. Instagram's kind of like the original influencer marketing platform, no?
Yes, it is. And it's one of the biggest platforms for influencer marketing in US. And a lot of e-com brands go there, and their shopping tools are also very, very cool if you have like offline product to sell. And it's a good platform if you have something like woman related product, because the audience there is very engaging, and they don't just, like go over the content when they have free time, but more and more we see the engagement over the reels, over the even like live streams. So yeah, I would definitely recommend to include Instagram to your influencer marketing strategy.
And TikTok, how are things changing on TikTok? What's new? What's hot there?
TikTok Shop is hot. And this is one of the trends that was brought from Asia. Also, live streaming. They're pushing this direction at the moment, as well as YouTube. And also, just recently, they were announced like kind of paid subscription, like some paid subscription, where you can join the chat with the influencer and be in their like the narrow community.
Cool. Interesting. I looked at a recent study, and there was a preference for a lot of brands in working with small or nano influencers versus the large and expensive ones. You mentioned the sort of 30% of the budget to the larger influencers. Talk about that. What have you seen? What are you seeing right now in terms of preference of what kind of influencer, what size of influencer to work with?
I believe that nano and micro influencers, what they are since maybe 5 years already, it always a trend, and it will remain the same since their community is more loyal, more niche, more engaged. So I definitely recommend to include them in your strategy. But at the same time, they can be not that experienced or that like creatives. They don't no, they don't have that much experience working with the different brands, understanding what is required to provide in their content. So I would rather go with a mixed strategy and include at least like mid-core influencers, sometimes celebrity and bigger names if they really align with your brands. Don't only focus on small niche influencers, but it can be a strategy depending on the goal and depending on the product. As you mentioned before about your wife, if for example she has some product that should be distributed among smaller community in a certain country or even like city or even the district. In this way, the best strategy will be to go to those niche, smaller creators that will definitely do the job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. So we talked off the top, hey, 5 things you need to know to succeed in influencer marketing in 2024. Let's just go down them one by one. What's the first one?
Oh, that's an interesting question. If you ask me as a marketer, I would say that the most important is to build a strategy based on data. So do some analysis before you run the campaign. Maybe look what your competitors are doing, not to repeat their mistakes, and also request some statistics from the influencer. There are a lot of platforms like third-party tools that provide you all the statistics on the influencers, but most of them are not related on, not based on the real data. So go into details and dive into the real numbers in order to build a strategy. So be data driven.
Cool.
And the
So the
first
first
one
one
for
is start
sure.
with data. What's the second one?
Well, the second one, I would probably go with a multi-platform strategy because every influencer has at least two social media, and the audience can be a little bit different. So I would recommend to adopt the creatives for different platforms. Let's say you're doing something on YouTube, you can resize your creatives or maybe shoot a few videos and post it on YouTube Short and also on TikTok and also on Instagram Reels. It will boost your performance and bring you a wider audience.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Cool.
would be the second one, I guess.
Cool. Awesome. Start with data, multi-platform strategy. Number 3.
You use AI tools in order just to simplify your lives. There are a lot of tools that can help you uh, identify the brand safety content, help out with writing the creative script and just analyzing the data. I think if you make the process really also like data driven, I would say, or also which is less time consuming, you will be able to accomplish more in a shorter period of time.
It's interesting as well, especially if your influencers also use AI tools. Let's see what happens, see what comes from that. Awesome. So we're starting with data. We're going multi-platform using AI tools. Number 4.
Well, I would say build long-term partnerships rather than a single integration. And what I can see from the market, more and more game developers and also app developers are integrating influencers to their app because it will bring you like a long tail of the traffic overall, and it can also build like this trust between the brand and creators' audience. So this is something that you really need to try. It takes time, yes, and takes a bit of effort and negotiation, but it will pay off afterward.
Interesting. If you're going long term, I'm guessing that means you're not going nano, you're not going micro, you're going at least a mid-tier influencer because you want somebody who's going to be around, correct?
Yeah, that's true. If you want to integrate the personality into the app, probably you will go to someone well known. But if it's a niche audience, it can be like long-term partnership with a smaller creator.
Cool. So we're starting with data. We have a multi-platform strategy. We're using AI. We're building long-term partnerships. What's the 5th thing you need to know to succeed in influencer marketing in 2024?
I think it's a comprehensive post-buy report. a lot of not very experienced marketers are facing the problem that it's almost impossible to evaluate the result of influencer marketing campaign because they're looking at the numbers and the like installs or sales that came from tracking lead. But it's not the only way how you can measure your success. You should also take into consideration like a long-term back. Like for example, if you post some video on YouTube, you should expect that around 20 or 30% of the traffic will come in a few months because the video remains in the platform and audience is gonna watch it for years if it's not gonna be deleted. Also, it affect on the brand and building the loyalty. Of course, a lot of marketers want to see the immediate result, but first you need to work on the upper layers of the funnel and building the brand awareness, building the trust and loyalty, and then it will be easier to convert them into the sale.
That's an interesting comment, actually, especially your one about YouTube videos. I've personally experienced that. I have a number of YouTube channels, and I've seen that on occasion that a video will get some hundreds of views. It's like, okay, that was a waste of time, kind of failed. And then, like 3 months later, all of a sudden, somehow the YouTube algorithm it kicks in, somehow something happens in the world, who knows what, somebody discovers it and something happens. And all of a sudden I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views, if not millions of views. Doesn't always happen, obviously, but it does happen. And it's not predictable necessarily.
Well, it all depends on the content. I believe that your audience is not watching every single piece of content, right? They're more like interested in a specific topic and they go specifically for it. But if your content related, I don't know, like to the history, which is always in demand, you can go the video after video all the time.
Hmm.
For example, the movie channels, if there's a hit which we expect,
Yeah.
so you can expect
Yeah.
uplift of your
Yeah.
views.
Yeah, I can see that. Most of what I talk about on one of my channels is all technology stuff, and so it's funny. Sometimes a new product gets launched, or a company does something big, or something like that, and that's all of a sudden in the zeitgeist, in the news, and boom, there it goes. Super interesting. Which is also why you have multiple influencers, and why influencers do multiple videos. Some will hit, some won't hit, right? And you've got to just spread your seed all over the place, and some will grow and some will just kind of die. That's kind of the name of the game. I guess one of the things you want to do that when you're dealing with multiple influencers, you got to have some kind of platform to manage that, right? You got to have some kind of platform. You can't do that one on one, can you?
No, I mean, if you run like two influencers at the time, you can do it manually. You can just in a Google Sheet. But if you run lots of influencers simultaneously, you need some CRM in order to track the performance and the status on the campaign. So we have in-house tool that we built for our needs and our processor, but there are a lot of on the market which you can try and find the best fit for you.
Cool. Well, Christina, thank you for taking some time. Do appreciate it. And thanks for sharing some of your knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.